The whole mankind is directly or indirectly dependent on animals for their livelihood. Human existence without animals for the survival of the living is not possible. One such ways humans are dependent on sheep and goats. They are important species of livelihood and are small ruminants which plays an important role in the Indian economy, and thus they are a source of livelihood and employment to millions of rural households. The shepherds of India, a community that is completely dependent on sheep for the living. In South India, this community is termed as Kurubas. One such search made me travel and find out the entire lifestyle of this community. Tracing back to the existence of this pastoral people, I started off my journey finding out this nomadic tribe. Sheep rearing in India contributes around 8.5% of total value of output from livestock agrarian economy, especially in the arid and semi-arid and mountain areas where crops and dairy farmings are not economical. Sheep rearing in India is an inseparable component of mixed farming. In view of the prevailing socio-economic conditions in the country, where per capita land holdings is hardly 0.2 hectares, sheep in India are predominantly maintained on natural vegetation on common growing lands, wastelands, uncultivated lands, stubbles of cultivated crop and top fields. Sheep and goat farming has been undertaken by people across the income and social group during the last few decades. However, large size hog flocks are reduced due to gradually shrinking of grazing land in almost all the regions. Major forage sources in this region are rangelands, common grazing lands, post-harvest crop field or residues. Small herd and flock sized are reared under extensive mixed farming system. It was winter, the time when Kuruba shepherds are on journey that starts from October or November, where agricultural work is at low. From then till now, around March to April, the pastoral Kurubas of Karnataka move from place to place in groups or two with their families, usually along the same routes, covering their estimate a total distance of 600 to 800 km. These people take care of livestock throughout the year, leading a semi-nomadic lifestyle, moving with the grazing animals from one place to another. While their family stays back at home, they typically spend a few months before they come back home and are replaced by other men from the family who now leaves home for the next few months. They take care of sheep, goats, horses and donkeys. A shepherd day starts by getting up before the sunrise in the morning and then start their daily routine. These people are adapted to the traditional way of cooking food using mud pots. The normal diet includes rice, sambar, roti, and milk. It also includes non-vegetarian food. Likewise, after the breakfast, these shepherds attend to graze the sheep, accompanied by a dog, and the dog always guards the sheep and lend a supporting hand for the shepherds.
ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಎದ್ದರೆ ಕಸ ಗುಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಕಸ ತಾಸು ಸುರಿಬೇಕು, ಆ ಮರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂಗಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಮರಿ ಮನೇಲಿ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಕುರಿನೇ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅಡುಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಊಟ ತಿನ್ನಬೇಕು. ಬಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಎದ್ದರೆ ಮರಿ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಸೊಪ್ಪು ತರಬೇಕು, ಸೊಪ್ಪು ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು, ಅವಕ್ಕೆ ತಿಂಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು, ನೀರು ಇಕ್ಕಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಕುರಿ ಈಚೆಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದರೆ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ 6 ಗಂಟೆವರೆಗೂ ನಾವು ಕುರಿ ಮೇಯಿಸ್ತೀವಿ.
They have dogs to guard the sheep day and night. If someone comes to steal the sheep or any wild animals or lions that attack it, it would be the dogs that would guard the sheep.
ಇವನು ಕುರಿ ಕಾಯ್ದಾನೆ. ನಮಗಿನ ಒಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಿಗಿನ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿದು. ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಒಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಬಂದರೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನೈಟ್ ಕಾವಲ್ಗೆ ಇವರೇ ಇರೋದು. ನಮಗೆ ಬೈಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಹೋದಾಗ ಇವರು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಗಳಿಗೆ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮನೆಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರು ಇವ್ರು ಮನಗಲ್ಲ. ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂಚೂರು ಸದ್ದಾಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ ಇವರು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಎಚ್ಚರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ನಾಯಿಗಳದೇ ನಮಗೆ ಬಲ. ನಾಯಿಗಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡೋದು ಭಾಳ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ.
These shepherds traveling along with the livestock from place to place tend to set up tents wherever they go, using bamboo sticks and wooden materials with coconut leaves, which protects them from the harsh weather and climatic conditions. Depending on the cropping, they tend to stay in one's farmland for 6 months. However, it is both a side beneficiary. On one hand, it is the sheep which gets food, and on the other hand, it produces manure for the land. Once the period is complete, they tend to move to another place. Walking with the flocks of sheep all their way life, they tend to spend every minute with them. Thus, it's a blessing to witness it. As there is advancement in technology, the process of mating is become artificial. Usually, cows are tend to go through artificial insemination, a process where mating is unnatural. Generally, when the sheep mate, they are natural, whereas cows these days are tend to adapt it to artificial insemination. But when it comes to sheep, they mate naturally and give birth to lambs. This process of lambing is very difficult, and thus undergoing such long process comes out a baby lamb. Generally, it is said that these sheep give birth once in 12 months. Once the lamb is out, these shepherds take care of it like a human baby. Generally, these sheep contribute a lot like meat, milk, fiber, skin, etc. Sheep husbandry is practiced throughout the world. Therefore, these sheep provide a wide array of raw materials. Wool was first used as a raw material for textiles. However, in the late 20th century, wool prices began to fall dramatically.
ನಾವಿದೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ರಾಗಿ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಕೊತೀವಿ ಫಸ್ಟೇನೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಹಾಕಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಕೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Generally, sheep skins is used for making footwear, clothes, rugs, and other products. Byproducts from slaughtering of sheep are also of value. Sheep tallow can be used in candle and soap making. Sheep bone and cartilage have been used to furnish carved items such as ties and buttons, as well as rendered glue and gelatin. The waterproof fatty substance found naturally in sheep's wool and used as a base for innumerable cosmetics and other products. Sheep have distinct economic advantages. When compared with other livestock, sheep do not require expensive housing. As in the case of chickens or pigs, sheep consume plants such as noxious weeds that most of the animals do not consume. Sheep produce more young at faster rate. Compared to most of the livestock species, the cost of raising sheep is not necessarily tied to the price of feed crops such as grain, soya beans, and corn. A small farmer can obtain higher probability in view of these factors and low cost of the quality sheep with lower overhead for sheep producers. Sheep and goats have been their primary source of livelihood. Land holdings in general have negative association with sheep and goat rearing. It is observed that some medium and large head flocks were common in most of the villages. The sheep who travel and make their living out of it are known as nomadic. Their sheep and goats graze in fallow fields, and the sheep earn modest sum for the animal waste manure when they bin their sheep. People usually earn at most rupees 1,000 per stop from a good landlord. after which they set out for the next stop, from where they look for farms nearby to arrange a reasonable deal. Over the past 2 decades, the demand for the wool of the sheep breed in the rugged terrain of Deccan region of south central India has been dramatically falling down. Thus, these shepherds are vanishing day by day. For long, a major portion of earnings of this Kurupa community came from supplying wool for the coarse black woolen blanket locally called as kambali. This is quite famous in South India. These blankets they wore were once popular with the country's armed forces, but are no longer in much demand. They use sleeping bags now. For some of the pastoralists, the emphasis has shifted to earning a living by selling their animals for meat and milk. Many of these biblical shepherds came from villages along the edges of wilderness. These settled shepherds farmed around their villages and took their sheep onto the nearby land that could be farmed.
ಮರಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಸಪ್ಟಾಗಿ ಅದೇ ಕಸ ಗುಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಒಂದು ಸರಿ ಕಸ ಗುಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮನೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಆಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವೊಂದು 3 ಜನ ಬಂದು ಕುರಿ ಕಾಯ್ತೀವಿ. ತಿರ್ಗಿನ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಈಚಲ್ಲಿ 10 ಗಂಟೆಯಿಂದ 11 ಗಂಟೆ ಈಚಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡಾಕ್ತೀವಿ. 10 ಗಂಟೆ 11 ಗಂಟೆ ಮೇಲೆ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಪುನಃ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕೂಡಾಕ್ತೀವಿ. ಪುನಃ 5 ಗಂಟೆ ರಾತ್ರಿಗೆ ಎದ್ದು ಈಚ್ ಕುಡಿತೀವಿ ಅವನ್ನ.
Sheep herding was difficult for both settled and nomadic shepherds. They faced burning sun and cold winds. Regardless of the conditions, they were responsible for the care of the sheep. Sometimes a shepherd had a donkey that carried him and his food and water. Other times he simply walked. A camel hair coat and simple head cloth protected him from the sunburn while he stayed with the flock for days at times. Bears, lions, wolves, and leopards lived in the wilderness areas. At night, shepherds put their flocks either into sheepfold under a house in the nearby pen or an enclosure in the wilderness. On occasion, the shepherds laid across the opening of their sheepfold, acting as a gate to protect the sheep and prevent them from straying.
ಕುರಿ ಮಂದೆಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಕುರಿ ನಾಟಿ ಗೊಬ್ಬರ ಬೀಳ್ತದೆ, ಕುರಿ ಗೊಬ್ಬರಕ್ಕೆ ಫಸಲು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಬೆಳೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋ ಲೆಕ್ಕಾಚಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಊಟ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕುರಿ ಮಂದೆ ಹಾಕಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಕಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ. ಓದತ್ತು ಏನಾದರೂ ಕಾಯಿಲೆ ಕಾಸಲೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಮ್ಗೊಂದು ವರ್ಷ ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. 1 ವರ್ಷ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಏನೂ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ದೇವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನೂ ಲಾಸ್ ಏನಾಗಲ್ಲ.
Only the animals they rear know their hardship. For this tribe of shepherds, nothing has changed over generations. This form of living is losing its value and importance today. Thus, their entire lifestyle is completely dependent on sheep. However, traveling to different places, living a nomadic life, it is not as easy as others. Inordinately lacking in many facilities, yet contributing to the economy. Today, thus this traditional community must be sustained and protected. Thereby, it is our responsibility to protect the interest of this community. However, this lively way of living from generations must be carried over and passed on to the next generations as well.